Another move that has happened in the NFL circle, our former coach, Pete Carroll, is
Yeah.
back in the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh boy. You go first, because I have some very interesting thoughts about this one.
All right. All right. Well, I will go first and I will say, honestly, it's going to be a tough road for Pete with the Raiders. I remember when I heard that he was going to interview for the job. I said, don't do this. Don't do this to yourself, Pete, because that division is going to be tough. But at the same time, do I have any doubt that Pete Carroll will at least turn the culture of the Raiders around? I don't think so. I think he will if they buy in, and that's the thing. Because if you watched a bit of his press conference, I didn't watch the whole thing, but if you watched a bit of his press conference, it was full of his hallmarks. Our players are going to compete, and if they're not ready, they're going to find out real quick that this is not the place they want to be. He said, but I want to have fun, and if we're not having fun, then I'm screwing it up. These are all things that are a part of his mantra. But the thing is, for all of Pete Carroll's wonderful positives in his tenure with the Seahawks, they were one of the most undisciplined teams. They got penalized a lot. They got fined a lot for certain things. So his the loose player friendly way that he runs things is, it it's something that it's something that you just can't. You don't know how well it's going to work. And the big thing is, he doesn't have a quarterback in Oakland right now.
No, he doesn't have a quarterback in Vegas. He doesn't.
Or yeah, in
I,
Vegas.
I still call it
Apologies.
Oakland too. I call it Oakland too every now
Yeah,
and then.
sometimes I switch, but I will say he seems ready to work. He has more energy than me at 70. He will be 74 in September, but his deal is a 3-year deal with the Raiders with a 4th-year team option. How much time do he and John Spytek have to build this team and turn it around? How long will it take? And also, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong about this, but this time is different. Pete Carroll does not have final say over personnel decisions.
That's good.
Apparently, John Spytek has the final say over personnel decisions. But I think, too, the other thing that we have to wonder now, and we're going to get into it a little later, does Pete try to go after some of his former guys? Does he?
That's the question I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Because since Pete is coaching the Raiders,
Yep.
and there's a few players that could fit the Raiders in what they want to do. One of them is DK. Maybe Gino has shown his cryptic messages here and there about they're joining the Raiders or a trade to the Raiders or blah blah blah. I don't know, but
Yeah.
when I first saw this move, I am not gonna lie, I laughed hysterically.
You did. Yeah, I knew you
I
did by the tone of the text you sent me.
I laughed hysterically because this is the most Raiders move I've ever seen. And I have seen, remember, this is a team that brought back John Gruden
Yeah.
for a few years.
Yep.
However, this is not the worst move they could have made. The worst move they could have made was brought in Matt Patricia.
Oh
And that
God.
would have been funnier.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No.
This was this was a smart move, but a typical Raiders move. As you said, you want a guy that's going to build the culture for the Raiders and build a fun, energetic culture for Vegas, which they haven't had in a very long time.
Yeah.
The Raiders are one of the hallmark franchises for the NFL in the last 50 years. Absolutely. When you think of the NFL and bully type football, like we think of hockey and the Broadway Bullies, we think of the Philadelphia Flyers. The Raiders are that version of like the NFL bullies. you played the Raiders, you were going to get into a fight. And I think you're going to get that with the Raiders. I don't know how good they're going to be in year one of Pete Carroll, but if they do decide we're going to go after some of our guys, Tyler Lockett, of some of his guys, Lockett, DK, Geno, Draymond Jones, some of the old Seahawks that he coached in his last few years with the Seahawks. We've already seen Darrell Bevell getting his name out there with the Raiders. I mean, you never know. Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Even.
The Russ stuff's been out there already. I don't
Russ
think
thing
it would
confuses
work.
the crap out of me, but what do I know? But it's expectations like, it's the Raiders. It's the Raiders. I mean, I feel bad because I know a few Raider fans and they're excited, but also they're pissed off because no, and I'll tell you why. They've all told me the same thing, and they say nothing's gonna change until Mark Davis sells.
Yeah,
nothing's gonna change, and that's the shame. That's a shame because it's the truth.
Yep,
it's the unfortunate truth.
It is, and it's the Cowboys of the AFC. Nothing will change with the Cowboys until Jerry Jones sells the team, and that's
or
the same.
Dies.
Well, yeah, and that's the same for Mark Davis. Unfortunately, I mean, anyone that would pay legitimate money for the haircut that he has, you can't trust their judgment. Okay, but the thing is, I think we hit the nail on the head. Pete will at least be a professional head coach for the Raiders. But I can't argue that Antonio Pierce wasn't. I thought Antonio Pierce did the best that he could with the hand that he was dealt. But I'm a little excited to watch the AFC West next year, Mr. Smooth, and I'm going to tell you why. Because in the division, you now have Andy Reid as coach of the Chiefs, still the class of that division. And you have Sean Payton in Denver, and Denver kind of overachieved this year. So
Denver's going to be good.
Yeah, if they
Denver's going to be good for a while
and keep that defense together. But then the last two coaches in the division are now Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh. Guess who don't like each other very much? Pete Carroll.
Yeah, baby. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
Those rivalries were fantastic.
Yeah, they do not like each other.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they do not like each other.
Wow, I forgot about that. I completely forgot Jim Harbaugh was still there.
Yeah.
It's been a year. I completely forgot. Well, my brain hurts today. So this comes to show how much I've been paying attention to the rest of the NFL.